Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLA video. Happy second anniversary, folks. It's officially launched. It's been going on for some time, and as promised, I will be imparting to you guys 2 years worth of knowledge in a brand new ultimate beginners slash returner player guide, because I know a lot of you have been jumping into the game to make sure you guys take advantage of all the amazing, incredible benefits this game has to offer on the second year anniversary, plus probably what I would consider to be the most free-to-play friendly game in gacha, and I think it's almost hands down gotta be it. Now, there are some things I want to talk about before we go on here. This video is going to be condensed to 20 plus minutes. I will put some timestamps in here, but guys, remember, at the end of the day, the whole point of this game is to have fun. So everything I tell you guys, take it as you will. It's all knowledge that I have, but if you want to do things differently, you're more than welcome to. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into the guide and cover everything that is solo leveling Arise second year anniversary. For all you new players and returning players, welcome back and welcome to the game. All right, folks, so the first thing I want to say, if you do appreciate any of the videos that I provide or any of the content or my live streams, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and more importantly, guys, right now the content creator program is back for season 16. Get yourselves in. It's free. All you got to do is go to this little site here, which I link in every single description and there's every single comment of every single video. You got to click on that button, go to here, hit that support button. It's absolutely free to join. There's no cost to you. It does benefit me as a content creator though from Netmarble. And if you do join, I send you guys codes. And the way it works is when a code is approved after I do a mission, for example, this is a mission actually to make you guys a free guide on this. All you got to do is when I send you the code manually, you got to just log into your page, go down to the coupon history, copy it and put it into the game, and you guys will get those free coupons throughout the entire season. So make sure you do that, guys. I do appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and I would love for your support, of course, especially with all the content that I put out, 2,000 plus videos already in the last 2 years. So that's the first thing I'm going to recommend. All right. Now, when it comes down to the game, let's talk about the most important things. So first off, the anniversary changed the whole game. Period. Everything has changed. Pretty much the whole game has hit a reset button. I've said it numerous times. So the first thing I want to talk about, most importantly, what you guys are all going to be asking is, hey Payne, what team should I focus on and who should I summon? So let's go over that first. So here's how it works, guys. Right now for the second year anniversary, you have a couple different banners. You actually, as a matter of fact, you have like 5 or 6 different banners, 5 as a matter of fact, and it's quite overwhelming for newer and returning players. So I'm going to break this down to you guys in terms of how you should summon, who you should summon for, and I'm going to give you guys the lowdown on which units are going to be best for what content. Okay, so first off, this custom draw here, we're going to get up to 500 free summons. The way this works is as you log in through the whole month, they're going to give you guys these free tickets. Plus there's an event going on here that you can allow you guys to get tickets as well too. You guys can see it's right here. It's called the free anniversary or second year anniversary special mission. So as you do these missions here, you know, any missions, daily missions, weekly missions, whatever, you'll get these tickets to summon. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is who you should summon for and why. All right. So there's a couple of teams you can build and I'm going to break it down for you guys per content. All right. So first off, the safest team. What this means is this team will never die. This team will always have shields on. This team will pretty much finish content story mode on auto. So if you're somebody who is either disabled or can't play the game properly due to any reasons, or just want to play auto because you're running out of time, and these are real things that I'm not trying to be a smart ass. People actually suffer through a lot of this due to the controllers or mobile. Auto game modes are best with the light team. The light team is full of shields, so if you're going to build any team right now and you want to play auto mostly, the light team is going to be the team you want to go for. So that team is going to be comprised of 4 to 5 different units, okay? Now, keeping this in mind while I'm going through this, at the end of the day, guys, you're going to want an element, you're going to want a team of every element. End game, you're going to need it. So it doesn't really matter which way you go. I'm going to break it down for you though, okay? So first off, you're going to want to summon for Antoine. For free-to-play players, you go A3. For pay-to-win players, you go A5, okay? And remember, pay-to-win is not required in this game because it's very free-to-play friendly, but if you want to spend and support, A5 for sure. Get their weapons to A10. It's possible. And just to make it clear, this is my free-to-play account, guys, and I'll show you guys what free-to-play is capable of doing, right? If you look at all my hunters, most of my hunters with this new patch are pretty damn buffed up. I've only got a couple hunters here at A3, for example. I've only got a couple here hunters at A1 or A2, etc., right? So it's very, very possible as a free-to-play player, guys, in this game to dominate and to keep up with a lot of pay-to-win players. But if you are planning to be pay-to-win, don't spend your arm and a leg on it. You'll still be able to do a lot with just spending a little bit, or if you plan to spend heavy, spend smart. That's all I always say, right? Okay, so the team for light is going to be Antoine, and for single player content, it'll be Antoine, Akari, and Cha. Now, you're going to get a lot of free copies of Cha as you play the game. Now, if you want to keep it safe, though, if you want to just keep it kosher and safe as possible, and don't worry about like dying ever, then the team will be Antoine, it'll be Laura and it'll be Thomas. Now that's not the optimal team. That's the end game team for, I would say, like guild boss or team fights. But for story mode and things like that, that's going to be Cha, Akari, and Antoine, and that team will carry you pretty much throughout the whole thing. Thomas being a huge part of it, of course, with the shields that he provides and stuff to himself, and you'll never really die with using Thomas. So Thomas is a good option to switch over for Cha, but ideally the team that you're going to be using for light will be Cha, Akari, and Antoine. Now, if you want the best team in the game right now, it's going to actually be the win team. So the win team is going to be comprised very simply of 3 different units. It's going to be Sugimoto Reggie, who just got released in the regular banner, so you can actually summon him here. So you guys can see there he is right there. You also going to be Leonard. Leonard is probably the best, most fun unit to use for wind easily, and Jinna. That's right. So that'll be the win team. That'll be the best team. That'll probably clear all content for you pretty easily. But again, there's not many shields there for that team, so you will get hit here and there. So if you're planning to play auto, it's still a really solid team to use. It's just a team that will sometimes lose in the missions that says don't get hit 20 times or something, right? So keep that one in mind. Now, the third team, which is going to be probably the best damage dealing team right now in the game, is going to be the water team. The only reason why I didn't recommend them second is because Elena's not out yet, and Elena would be the key element to that team outside of Mary, but it will be the water team right now. If you plan to build them, you're going to want to go Mary Lane, right? So Mary Lane is going to be over here. Where is she? Right there. So it'll be her, Mary Lane, and then the second unit is going to be the Water Cha unit. So Water Cha's right there, the pure Sword Princess Cha, and then also you're going to want to put Soren. So Soren's going to be your breaker, and she's right over here, which is she's also a really good buffer. But ideally, you want to take Soren out and you want to wait for Elena. So for those who plan to go for water because you like Cha, you like Mary Lane is the best infuser in the game, and she really is. Then you want to wait. Don't necessarily get Soren. You can still go for her because she's going to be still very viable. But you actually want to wait for Elena coming out next patch when Liu drops. Speaking of Liu, if you want to do future teams, then the fire team is where you want to go for. Okay, so the fire team with Liu coming out next patch is going to be the first buster being released. He's the last national level hunter outside of Siddharth, who we haven't heard anything about yet, and he will be he'll be a fire element. So for the fire team, the way you want to build that team is going to be a little bit different as well. So the fire team is comprised of Christopher Reed, which is going to be the national level hunter infuser right over here, or the stacker. You can see the little element right there. These are your stackers, right? So that'll be him. It'll be comprised of Gina, where she's an older unit, but she's still very viable for fire. Where's she? Gina. Let's see if I can find her here, guys. Gina, she's down here somewhere, I promise. Just gotta locate her. Oh, she's right here. She's in my list. There she is right there. So Gina, and then lastly, it'll be Liu. So that'll be your team for your fire team. So if you plan to build for the future and the upcoming Liu team, then you want to definitely go for Gina. You want to definitely go for Christopher Reed, and then save the rest for Liu when he drops. Christopher Reed will carry you all the way across right now for story modes and stuff, but definitely for Liu, you definitely want those two first on their team and then focus on that. Another alternate you can go for Gina is Essel. If you want to breaker slash debuffer, she's also a very good solid choice, especially with the most recent buffs. And then lastly, to me, the most fun team to play, and it's up to you if you want to build them right now. There's really no need to have them, but they're an amazing team and I love using them personally. They're probably the most fun team to me is the dark team. And if you plan to build a dark team, it's going to be Sun Ki-hoon here as your buffer slash breaker. It's going to be Sung Il Hwan and then Igris, aka Sion Halat. Okay, so that's the way you do it. Now again, you can go any which way you want for this, guys. It doesn't hurt to pick whatever team you want, but at the end of the day, it's up to you and your playstyle, and that's what I would end up doing. The dark team is probably the most complicated team to use, and they're probably the most advanced team to use, but they're also one of the strongest teams out there, and they're good for every content. But again, for the safest team, it's probably light and wind. For the best DPS team right now, it'll probably be water when Elena it's dropped, and then for the future teams, you want to go fire. Okay, and that'll be with Liu dropping as soon as well too. All right, so that's the main thing. Let's get that one out of the way. I just want to get that done. Also, for anyone wondering what to do with your essence stones, use them for the rate up banner only. Okay, never use them for the black tickets. You'll get plenty of these throughout the game. Only use essence stones for the rate up banner and nothing else. All right, guys, now that we've done that, let's talk about what you should do first when you log into the game. All right, folks, so we've discussed the basics. Let's talk about Sun Jinwoo and what you want to focus on for him first. So number one, Sun Jinwoo stats. This is important. Okay, there's two different builds of Sun Jinwoo that's very, very viable, and the one you're going to use most often is the strength build. Okay, so right here you guys can see you have an option to choose many of these different stats. The only ones that really matter is strength and intelligence at the end of the day. Perception is also very important, but you'll get that through your gems, and you don't have to worry about it very early on. So the strength build is probably the most popular build. This is the DPS build for Sun Jinwoo, and ideally you want to use it whenever you're doing story modes or any type of content that's single player outside of guild boss and POD. or now called POC, which is Power of Calamity. Used to be called Power of Destruction. So right now is the strength build. Every stat goes into strength, and everything else is done through gems and all that stuff. So essentially, attack is going to be your best friend, and that's what you want to use. Now, when it comes down to overall skills for Sun Jinwoo, I'm going to give you guys the best breakdown of each element and what you want to use. So let's start off with fire. So fire skills, the best two skills to use are going to be detonation over here, which is the dagger toss, and then also the fire kick right over here called firestorm kick. These two are the best fire skills, and you don't want to leave home without them. They're going to be your bread and butter for fire, period. And when it comes down to fire weapons for Sun Jinwoo, if you want to build fire, it's going to be the fan and the Essel Redura Clan's double-edged spear. So this is your best fire weapon, fire setup, okay? When it comes down to dark has a couple different options. Keeping in mind, infusion can be used at any point as well. If you want to be a support unit, then you can do infusion as well. So for dark right now, if for breaking purposes, it's going to be dispersion, and for damage, it's going to be your magnifying slashes, and also there's one other one here. It's called Sunder right here. So these three are your best dark moves, and then of course, if you want to do infusion, you can use Silent Strike here for dark. Now, when it comes down to dark, your best weapons for dark are going to be your brand new weapons that are currently out, which is going to be the Winchester Rogue and the Transfiguration Key. And this is the first infusion weapon, which means you can actually do overload damage with this one. So that's very important. So those are your dark ones, okay? When it comes down to the actual light setup, you have a couple different options as well. You can do electric shock. You can do, there we go. Light kick, Azura kick, which is very good because it boosts your light damage, plus it gives you almighty break. You can of course use the infusion skill right over here. And then lastly, you also have a couple different options for breaking. The heavy break over here, which also increases your critical hit rate damage by 60%, which is called Earth Shock. And you can also use, right here, double down. Okay, so those are going to be your light options. Light has quite a few different options to use, and the best light weapons right now to use in the game are going to be the Phantom Sword, which is a free to play weapon from the guild shop, and as well as the staff right over here, the Divine Quarterstaff. Okay, so you can use those two things, or if you want to mix it up a bit, you can go check out the video about it. The Stormbringer and the staff still are very viable. Even though both are not light, it's still a very viable option. Okay, so there you guys go. That's built for that. Now the last element here, I think we did fire. We got to do wind. Wind is very important. Okay, so wind, you want to use armor, vacuum wave. Oh, we have to do water as well. So vacuum wave will be your main one for wind because it increases damage done to opponents by 17% at Mythic for 12 seconds. So that's very important. You can also use this one for DPS here called Wind Shroud. And then also lastly, you can also use the wind kick as well too, which does a break plus applies a shield to the user as well. So those are going to be your best wind moves for wind. And when it comes down to weapons for wind, you can use the Stormbringer with the Demon King daggers as your two main wind weapons. Okay, so those are going to be your best weapons right here and here. Okay, so those are two main weapons for wind. Now when it comes down to water has recently got a pretty good upgrade. The orb with the scythe, or the scythe with the book, the grimoire book here. Okay, and now this right here of course is going to be your last element for DPS, and I'm going to talk about support real quick. Support just needs one build only. All right, now when it comes down to water, you're going to be using the water kick for sure. You can see the kicks are some of the best moves out there, and you're going to be using this over here called Cold Ice, which is going to give you everybody around you a big buff of 12% more damage within 5 meters. So those are going to be your two main builds with those two weapons. Now lastly, there's one more build for Sun Jinwoo. Okay, and that is the intelligence build. That's your support build. Now, when it comes down to gear for him, of course, for DPS, you're gonna want the Poison Guild. But when it comes down to support setup, you're gonna want to use this setup instead. You're gonna use the Noble set, right, which is going to give you the support skills. And this build is a bit different. You actually want to remove, so you can reset your stats here. Remove this and put everything into intelligence. Okay, everything will go into intelligence, which allows you to spam your skills more often and allows you to keep your MP flow going. Plus, allows you to support your DPS units as hunters for things like Guild Boss and POC. All right, so that's going to be the best builds for Sun Jinwoo, and that's the only time you use that build really is when it comes down to supporting your hunters to do better during Guild Boss and POC. Okay, or so you're saying POD. I have to remember that as POC now. All right, now when it comes down to QTEs, guys, your best QTE is going to be Thunderstorm. Most people will use that for damage. This will always be the same. And then over here for the death, you're going to be using right over here the Overshadow as well as Ice Strike. Those are your two best ones there. Now when it comes down to blessing stones, best blessing stones in the game are going to be Bloodlust, they're going to be Reawakening, and then also Sharp Perception. And then the last one is up to you which way you want to go. You can go the boss slayer, which is a really, really good option. So it's going to be one. So here's my recommendation. I go Bloodlust and Reawakening is your best two. So these two right here, definitely choose those from the stones that you get. The third one, Sharp Perception, is a very close number 2 and can honestly be tied with them. And then the last one here I would say is Boss Slayer. Those are probably, I'd say, your best choices to choose from when it comes down to transcendent skills. Okay, so definitely when you have the option to do that, use those. When it comes down to what skills to go with first, it all depends on what weapon and what setup you want to do. I gave you all the skills you require. Feel free to build however you want to build. All right, guys, that's the setup for Sun Jinwoo. Let's go ahead and talk about what you should be doing first when you jump into the game. All right, folks, now that we're back and we've talked about teams and you're now starting to build your teams up, the way it works with this is the first thing you want to focus on is story mode. Story mode is your bread and butter for all things resources. Now, while you do the story mode, you're also going to be going through this Monarch's milestones. Now, these journeys here that you're going to be accomplishing is going to be accomplished through completing mostly story modes, finishing gates, doing content. But your first mission, guys, as a new player or returning player, is to play the catch-up game. The catch-up game is super important because number one, it allows you to gain insane amount of rewards, and number two, it's going to allow you to complete a lot of these teams that you might be missing out on. So first thing you want to do, guys, is go through the story mode, and while you're completing the story mode, finish all of these milestones. These milestones are fantastic to give you a lot of free units, and you'll be swimming in resources that you don't even know what to do with. Okay, so that's the main thing. Now, if you want to be ahead of the game while you're doing story mode and you're clearing content, you also want to focus on building your shadow army of shadows. This is where most of your power will be coming from. You guys can see my free to play for army of shadows is 1.19, and this shadow here, or these shadows here, are going to be a big part of your actual combat power. So what do you normally do first? So while you're doing story mode and you're unlocking things, focus on completing your gates. Your gates are super important as well. Right here, you guys can see there's gates, and you guys can now, since they revamped the whole system, you can now actually sweep gates, which is fantastic. So what I would focus on here, guys, story mode and then gates. Now for gates, you absolutely want to focus on getting yourself shadow energy. Okay, this is going to be your number one goal here. So when you go to the reward settings, switch it to this and this. These are the two main things you really want to focus on. So I'd focus on shadow energy first, get this out of the way, and then accomplish that. And once you've completed getting your shadow energy, use it first and foremost to unlock all the shadows. That's your first goal, guys. Unlock every single shadow, and that will be a massive boost to your power. Okay, I promise you, you will not regret it. So first thing, focus on shadows, guys. Those are the main things. So as you're building your army of shadows, you're going to unlock every single shadow, and after you're done unlocking all the shadows, the next thing you want to do is you want to move these promotions up to general as fast as you possibly can. Now you can go even across the board and do it slowly, or you can go one unit at a time. The best shadow in the game and the most useful shadow in the game is always going to be Igris, so he would be your main focus. The second best shadow is going to be Bestie, so you want to definitely use her. And then the third one is either going to be Cerberus, it's going to be Beru, or a few others that you can use along the way. But those two are going to be your main focus. Focus on these ones first. Now, as you unlock their growth, your shadow army is also going to grow right down here. You see your army level. This, as you increase your actual rank for each shadow, the army level will increase, which will also allow you to increase the total combat power for these shadows. So make sure, guys, as you are increasing the rank, you also go back here and increase the army level. That is the only way to get shadow power outside of course, putting their growth here, unlocking their weapons, and leveling up their skills. All very, very important things. Now, things like this, you guys can go check out my skill guides in terms of shadows. These are more advanced things, but for now, guys, the main goal is unlock all of your shadows, focus on getting their ranks up, their growth up, and getting your army level up. This is super, super important. So your gates, your main focus for gates, guys, will be, in fact, getting all of your army shadows out of the way while doing the full story mode. Okay, now with story mode, remember, the more story mode trophies you complete, the more rewards you'll get weekly. Now, right now, the weekly rewards are fantastic. They will give you guys up to 1,750 actual trophies. 1,750 essence stones every week for just accomplishing all the trophies. You can get a ton of that done really quickly, and they've actually simplified a lot of the story mode. So guys, story mode, these milestone missions, and working on Army of Shadows is going to be your biggest part of the game. While you're doing that, you're also going to be, of course, focusing on getting your gear up. So where do you get gear? I'm going to show you guys real quick. It's going to be under the unstable dungeons. Now, keeping in mind that these keys are now unified, they used to be separate keys for separate content. You will have to use these keys in an intelligent way. Now, one little trick I'm going to tell you guys, okay? When you are fighting a boss, if you go down to the lowest tier possible, it will give you the trophies for every single tier above. So if you are somebody who's pay to win, or someone who's a really good player and has the proper combat power, let's say you want to do tier 20 but you haven't done 19 to 1, don't worry about it, focus on tier 20. It will actually give you all the previous rewards and trophies and essence stones from the previous tier. So make sure, guys, when you are doing these bosses, don't waste your keys, do the highest level possible. Now for the reward settings, I'm going to talk about gear real quick. When it comes down to gear, it's super simplified now. So your DPS units are going to use the Architect's Blue Poison. Those are going to be your damage dealers. Your breakers are going to be using Glorious Arrogance. Okay, and breakers are the ones that break the break bar. Again, super easy things to do and not as viable nowadays. Your main ones are going to be your Commission Obsession. We'll talk more about that. And then your Noble Flesh is your support, and then Commission Obsession are your stackers. So right now, the three I would focus on are going to be the Architect's Blue Poison for sure for your damage dealers, Noble Flesh for your supports, and Commission's Obsession for your stackers. And the reason why these three are so important is because breakers are not as viable right now, but the other two are. Now, where are breakers viable? Well, breakers are viable in places like Battlefield of Time and places like Battlefield of Trials, where elements are not available. Because elements are not available, infusers are useless. Infusers only buff your elemental damage, but because there's no elemental damage, there's no point in doing that. Okay, so guys, first thing, focus on story, get your Army of Shadows up, and then go from there. Now, let's talk about everything else that's more advanced. All right, guys, now that we've kind of gone over what you should be doing first when you join the game, let's talk about some of the more complicated things that this game has to offer. The menu has been completely revamped, so I'm going to go through each of these things with you guys so you understand what you're going into and what these are going to serve for you in terms of the long run. Okay, so Battlefield of Chaos is where you're going to farm all of your gems. Now, we're going to talk about gems very shortly, but this is the place where you want to farm. Now, the red gems are going to be your attack gems, blue gems are your HP gems, your orange gems are your precision / your crit damage / your defense penetration, your green gems are your defense and damage reduction gems, and purple gems are going to be your speed and MP gems. So these are things you're always going to want to farm, and you're going to want to focus on, I say, the red ones. And so again, we'll talk about gems afterwards. I'm gonna tell you guys how to do it, but I would focus on getting one of each one, multiple of each ones actually in the beginning, just so you can fill out the entire gem section so you can unlock more of it. Okay, so that's what Battlefield of Chaos is for, and it's absolutely a big part of the game. The Mind Rift is brand new actually. Mind Rift is where you're going to be able to get your cores. Now, this used to be part of the Workshop of Brilliant Light. No longer is that the case now. Workshop of Brilliant Light actually now is going to be used to farm essence stones and all these other things, and now this place here instead is going to be your new spot for cores. So all of your core farming will be done here. Cores are an integral part of the game and one that you're going to be farming quite a bit for every hunter, including Sun Jinwoo. So this is where you want to focus on here, guys, and get this. You guys can see again, trophies are available for you as you complete this, and you're going to want to finish this as soon as you can to get more essence stones out of the way. And yes, again, they use the same amount of keys, so keep that in mind. Okay, now where destinies divide, this is going to be your hunter archive, which is going to essentially give you guys all your secret library stuff that used to exist. And then there's also going to be a section here for the remnants, which is going to be something that you'll eventually see again, such as Myro the Successor. You guys can do these storylines just to kind of read about it. Gives you some essence stones. And then lastly, there is a section here called, let me just go to it real quick, loading, Battlefield of Trials. Now, this is going to be somewhere you're going to focus on while you're playing the game. This is a major part of the game and a great place to get a lot of resources, so definitely put focus on here, guys, and try to push this both for hunters and player mode as fast as you possibly can, just to get as many things under your belt as possible. Okay, so this is where most of your free essence stones and stuff is going to come from, plus your Battlefield of Trials. All right, now the weekly missions, this is going to be your end game content. Okay, so simulation game is end game. It's going to be where you get your enchantment books, plus a lot of different resources, especially essence stones when you first complete it the first time. Workshop of Brilliant Light, this is the end game raid content where most of your skills are going to play and you're going to fight most of the monarchs, and it's a fantastic place for you to get yourself essence stones. It just got introduced, and it's our only real way to farm essence stones now. So definitely focus on that. When it comes down to POC, we choose to go POD. This again is going to be early game, middle game, and end game content. And then lastly, guild boss. Make sure you join a guild, guys. Any guild, it doesn't matter. Join, take advantage of all the guild boss stuff and all the guild shop accessories that you can get and resources you can get. It's a critical part of this game, and you want to join a guild as soon as you possibly can. Now, if you're going to be a pay-to-win player, you want to usually look for a high-end guild. If you're going to be someone casual, look for a low-end guild. That way you can still get all the rewards without having to be pressured to do much. Remember, our guilds are always recruiting, so feel free to join the Discord and take a look to see who is looking for who, okay, in terms of powers. Trial of the Strong is going to be your Battlefield of Time, which is your quote-unquote leaderboard / PvP. Not really PvP, it's player versus player, as in like the leaderboards, but not actual player versus player. And then the Overseer's Library, where you're going to be able to actually get yourself these books. And then as you get these books or these coins, you're going to be able to spend these coins to get these books to boost your player co-op. And we'll talk more about that as well. Okay. Now with the library, it's unique because you get to do different story modes, right? You can see right over here, you need a specific amount of power to do the story. And then the highest level one gives you the most amount of coins and rewards. And as you do this, right, you guys will complete this. And then as you meet the requirements, you'll be able to spend this in terms of going to the shop and buying yourself the books for Hunter Co-op, which will boost your elemental power for each element that you decide to use them on. Again, we'll talk more about that after. And then of course, the second anniversary Dawn Clash is your event for PvP, as well as all the events that are happening for the second year anniversary. Just do this, guys, as you play the game. It'll be super easy to do. Just follow what they tell you to do. The instructions are there. It's not complicated, right? And then there's a couple of mini games here. There's a piano mini game here, which is weekly. There is a Flappy Bird Cha version of it, which is weekly. There is a dice anniversary roll here, which is also available for you as part of one of the events. So make sure you follow these and complete this as well. There's a lot of really good rewards. And then lastly, there's going to be the boss challenge and an event story. So as you complete this, you'll get yourself some more rewards with the keys that you get for fighting Baran. All right, so that's going to be the event section. And then lastly, there is PvP right here called International Clash. This is very limited. It's auto PvP, by the way. The main reason to do this really is to get yourself the mission rewards, which is up to 1,000 essence stones as well. And it's going to be something that's very easy to do. So guys, just take a couple minutes of your day, complete it, get the 40 done, and move on with your life if you don't care about it. And if you do care, of course, continue focusing on it. All right, so that's the menu, guys. I just want to cover that to make sure you guys got everything under your belt for that. All right, let's talk about some of the more complicated things again. All right, so menu 1 done, menu 2. Now, we talked about Sun Jinwoo already, right? We're going to talk about the hunters next. Now, for hunters, the way to know how to build a hunter is you need to understand that hunter's main stat. Now, the way to check the hunter's main stat is very straightforward, guys. All you got to do is click on this little button here and you'll see what the hunter is based off of in terms of their powers, right? So for example, Soren here says based off of her max HP. Everything is based off of her max HP. So her damage comes from HP, not from attack. Very important to note. Thomas, as another example, is based off of defense. So all of his damage comes from defense. So yes, attack is a word that's used very often, but it's not the actual damage dealing, stat that everybody thinks it is. Attack works only on attack units like Cha, for example. She is an attack spec unit, while Thomas, all of his damage comes from defense, while Soren, all of her damage comes from HP. Very important to note that, okay, guys? Super easy also to tell. You click on the skill guide here, it'll tell you exactly what the unit does and also exactly how to use the unit, and it's actually pretty well put together, so you guys can follow these recommended skill orders, and these are things you can do while you play the game. Just pause the game, and it's viable there as well too, and it's all available. Now for skills, guys, make sure when you level up all skills, it'll tell you exactly which skills to focus on first, second, third, fourth right here, and by clicking this little button over here where my face is covering. So let me cover the whoop, there we go. Okay, so right there, you guys can see if you click on that, it'll tell you exactly what to focus on first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, etc., etc. So this is actually really well done. I would highly recommend follow that order in the beginning, and then at the end you want to boost as many skills as possible. Boosting skills, number 1, increases the amount of damage you do, and number 2, also gives you guys more power. All right, so this is how hunters will be built. And again, they've simplified the actual builds for armor. It's very straightforward, guys. All you got to do is whatever the role of that unit is. So for example, Soren's a breaker, you give her that break set, right? Thomas is a DPS, you give him the DPS set. So he's going to be built with the poison set. Excuse this build, this is an older build. For Cha, same thing, she's going to be using the poison set, right? So you can see the poison right there. For Leonard, same thing, poison set, right? So and again, you can share sets amongst different people. So for example, Leonard is a defensive DPS, and so is Thomas. So I'm going to swap these two gears so I don't have to build too many of them at the same time, okay? Now, speaking of gear, just so you guys are aware how it works, if you want to enhance your gear, there's a couple different ways to enhance. Number 1, enhancing the level will give you guys randomized buffs to these stats, okay? So these will be stats you'll get random into. If you don't like the stats, you can get these reset enhancement chips or tickets, and you can reset them as you will. They are limited, and you'll have to re-roll again, which uses your armor chips as well as using your gold. Okay, now once you've done that and you've enhanced it, you can go to enhancement here where you get your books from simulation, and you can add additional stats to those enhancements based on the stats that are here. And then lastly, reforge is if you have older gear, which you guys won't have to worry about, you can level up to 120. But right now for newer players, I wouldn't even focus on that. You're only getting 4 sets of gear anyways, and that's what you want to focus on. Okay, now hunters have a couple different things. Not only do you have skills, but you also have hunter specific weapons. Try to get the hunter specific weapons, guys. They're built for those hunters. These passes, for example, for Thomas Andre will not work on anybody else. The stats will apply, but none of the passes will apply. These are super easy to get over time. You'll be able to max them out. Always put the right hunter with the right weapon and try to max them out as much as you can. The more you advance a character, the more you unlock. So for example, advancing this weapon to A5, which is called Advancement 5, is going to give you the passive at max level. If you go to Advancement 10, it increases the total amount of stats by 15% on top of what you currently have. It's not shown in the stats, but it will be applied in game. So it's very, very important. Now, speaking of advancements for hunters, that is also a very big part. As you advance your hunters, you'll unlock more passives. You guys can see A0, Advancement 0 gives you the basic passives. Advancement 1 adds another shield. Advancement 2 gives you this. Advancement 3 gives you this. Advancement 4 gives you this. Advancement 5 gives you this, and then advancement up to 10 gives you an extra 15% more stats to your character. So advancement 10 is not required, but it is a great way to boost your combat power and a great way to deal more damage. So if you're a min-maxer, someone who wants to spend, you absolutely want to focus on this. If you're free to play, A5 is more than enough to finish all content in the game. So very important to note that, okay? Now, cores are a whole other thing. We'll talk about cores later on, but I wanted to cover that. Now for hunters as well, you want to definitely get your level up. You can check all your hunters' actual stats right here. You can check their weapon stats and artifact stats. Super straightforward there. Advancements are right here as well. Their level, these are their stats right here, and this is where their weapon goes. And if you want to know in terms of like, if you want to reset anything here, you can click on this little button right there. It'll allow you to get back all your resources except for the level that you've done for growth and for skills, and you can get those back and apply it to somebody else. So if you made a mistake and you change your mind about who you want, you can do that as well too at any time in order to make it easier for yourself, okay? Also, if you click on recommended sets, you can see what sets they recommend for your characters. Always try to go for number 1. It's usually the newest set anyways, but it's available there for you. So that's all about hunters, guys. So for all free-to-play players, you want to push your DPS to A5. Your infusers can stay around A3. Your supports can stay around A3, but highly recommend just try to push everyone to A5. In this game as a free-to-play player, you can absolutely do it. It's viable, and it's something that's not impossible to do. All right, folks. Last thing I want to talk about, the dreaded menu screen. Yes, there is a lot going on here. So let's cover this whole screen for you guys so you understand what it's all about. So Army of Shadows, we discussed. Hunter Sun Jinwoo, you know. Game modes, you know. Legacy. So Remnant Power. As you do Workshop of Brilliant Light, you're going to unlock Remnant Power. You're going to unlock different monarchs to work for you. Essentially, they come in one time and they will do a specific move, usually a break, and give you some sort of a buff along the way. And that will allow you guys to use them very limited one time per use. Now there's a new introduction of a brand new character named Myro, who is a successor. This is a brand new feature. It is not free to play friendly, guys. It will take you a long time to farm her as free to play. You guys can see I don't have her here, and it is a limited banner that you will be able to summon on. If you're pay to win, it's going to cost you roughly about $320 Canadian to max her out. And yes, she is extremely powerful maxed out level, but not very good early on. So for free to play players, yes, it says 82 days. You will be able to eventually get her over time. Probably not anytime soon, but for pay to win players, she is a absolute beast and a monster to use in game, especially when maxed out. So definitely recommend going for that if you're pay to win, but that's completely up to you how you want to do that. All right, the weapon section here is going to be for Sun Jinwoo plus your hunters. Pretty easy to tell. You can level up, you can advance weapons here, and you guys can salvage weapons there as well too. So very important to note that one. The artifact section, of course, is all your artifacts. There's a management section down here, which allows you to select all, to salvage, to clear, to boost, whatever you need to do. But that essentially is your section, and it's broken down by different parts right here, so you guys can understand how to focus on that. And then the core section is all your cores. So as you get cores, you'll level them up. Just so everyone's aware now, high-end players, percentage cores are better now for everything. Percentage cores are better. Early game players, additional stats are better. So early game, additional stats are better. For high-end like level people like 150 plus, the percentage ones are better for all stats now. It's been calculated, it's better overall, okay? So that's very important to note. Now the other menu here, of course, is going to be your draw. That's your summoning, your shop, and I'll do a separate shop guide for you guys. Right now, the best things you can buy in the shop for anyone who plans to be pay to win is the second anniversary packages. They're phenomenal. Subscriptions are great. The first top-ups are great, but these are all things that you guys should focus on if you're pay to win, especially the second year anniversary stuff. They're all fantastic offers and ones that should be taken advantage of. One thing to note, the shop is not all pay to win though. As a free to play player, there's going to be rewards you can get for free, such as the daily bonuses. You guys can see here there is also going to be a exchange shop. This is where all your exchange happens, so you have to make sure you focus on here as well too, guys, and try to get as much of the exchange stuff as you can. Again, I'll go over the shops for you guys in a different video, but it's all available here for you to go through. Okay, so don't ignore the shop. It's very important and one you're going to use very often. Monarchs milestones, we talked about this, something you want to focus on while you play the game, so make sure you do that. The workshop is where you do your crafting and your crafting of artifacts. Again, one that's very important, one that will be part of your dailies, and one that you'll visit quite often, so make sure you do that. We can do a separate guide for crafting for acquired. Fusion is also another place that's very important. This is going to be a place where you can level up all your skill runes, your blessing stones, your gems, and your books to legendary and above. So to get to mythical, there's another section though. It's called the skill research. So once you get your legendary and you collect enough of these fragments, you can then push a legendary to mythical and then go mythical +1, +2, +3 for additional stats. So this is a advanced section, not required for you guys to learn about now. You can watch out the guys for that stuff later on. Okay, co-op training. This is what I was referring to. As you do your secret library, you'll be able to get these little these tokens, these tomes, and you can use these hunter books then to level up your elements for each different class. So these ones, again, I did a whole video on. I'll make a new one, but right now this is not a really big focus for you guys. But note that end game, this is a very important one, and again, we'll talk about this in a separate video altogether. Shadow Enforcers essentially is your dailies for your sending out your shadows to collect resources. All your Shadow Enforcers should be focusing on shadow energy and getting yourself more shadow stuff. So make sure you do that, guys. Very, very important. Don't miss out, and level them up accordingly as you go through the game. And then of course you have the Adventurers Record, which is just going to be your bonds as you level up characters, as you gain advancements. Always claim all. It'll give you guys a ton of free rewards and summoning tickets, etc. Right? Very, very important. Your collection is just going to be like your music and your costumes, so you can check that out at any time. Your strategy training is your training section for you can fight the training room, the managed presets. You can do all your presets plus the hunter preview. And keep in mind, if you do the hunter previews, you get a free ticket along the way. So make sure, guys, you try to go and do as many of those as you can to get some free summoning tickets for yourselves. It's easy and it's super easy to do. Rankings right here, this is where your trophies come from. You can see where you rank. Make sure you do as many trophies as you can. The more trophies you collect, the more rewards you'll get. Right now, the max you can get is 1750. I'm already there. So this will be provided to you on a weekly basis once the reset happens. All right. And on the side over here, you have the mailbox, you have your inventory, you have your battle passes, which are, again, very free to play friendly as well. So definitely complete them. If you plan to be pay to win, you can get skins and other things as well too along the way. But free to play players can definitely take advantage of this while you play the game. So definitely do that, guys. It's one that you don't want to skip out on. And again, look at this, free summons the whole way across. You have your daily logins right here. You guys can see if you missed out on anything, you can see it there. You have a couple different missions that are being provided for free here as well too. And then lastly, you have your event page. All right, so there you guys go. That is essentially it. Now, the last thing I want to say is the settings section. If you want to put in codes, you go down to account. There's a redeem code button right here, and you can put your codes in there. Remember to support. I'll provide you guys codes. And just in case you have iOS, the way to redeem codes is actually not in the game. You have to go into the forums and do it there. So if you log into the forums of Solo Leveling or Rise right here, you guys can redeem codes right there. Enter redeem code. You'll need your account number plus the code provided. All right, guys. That was a big video. It was a long video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, hit that support button, get yourselves into the support program, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.